Hello, welcome to Monday Morning Matters live broadcast show brought to you by Magnicraft Consulting team, anchored by Niyi Dunmade, a certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting in the U.S. Here, each Monday of every week, we address important, relevant, and actionable topics of interest that will help you and your church grow healthier. And now, meet your host, Niyi Dunmade. Hello.
Welcome everyone to this live broadcast show, and thank you for hooking up with Monday Morning Matters. We are so glad you are part of this live broadcast. I am Niyi Dunmade. I'm the certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting in the US. I'm also the founder and the CEO of Magnicraft Consulting Limited. With me is my darling wife, Mrs. Ruth Dunmade. She's a trained and certified family clinician and mind coach. Say good morning to our viewers.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know where you're watching in the part of the world. Good morning and have a beautiful watch right
Yes,
now.
a big good morning, beautiful morning, magnificent morning to everyone. A big thank you to those who are commenting in our broadcast and reaching out to us one way or the other. We are so timely with our messages on all our social media platform. I want you to take advantage of that medium to reach out to us in any of these Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and I'm sure we're going to get back to you. So let's be attentive as we dive into these issues that we've been dealing with in the past 2 weeks. The past 2 weeks we have been talking about the pains of church decline. Today is the part 3 of the pains of church decline. So let's be attentive as we lead our church in the pandemic. It's a tough one. We need to ensure that we get some of these nuggets from this broadcast that will help your church greatly. Pain is an indication created by God to get us to give attention to something. Is that not true?
It's true, but it's even painful for that.
When there's pain in any part of our body, it just requires that we should give attention to that. So God created that medium of pain so that we can give attention to something, and it's also an indication that something is out of place, something is out of order, something is out of structure, something is out of the rhythm of how it should be. So pain is an indication that we need to give attention to. So what do you say to that, ma'am?
Yeah, pain, when you have pain, as it was rightly said, is an indication that you must deliberately give attention to something. So you can imagine you having, right now I'm even having body pains. So it's an indication that, likely you have not rested well, likely you've not slept well, likely you have so much things to do that you need to cover up. So pain is an indication that you have to give attention to something. So as it relates to church decline, anytime you see such kind of decline, like you see such kind of pain coming from the heart of a pastor, a minister, a church leader, is an indication that you need to sit on the drawing board to re-strategize and replan. So pain is sometimes good for us to go check something out.
Yeah, check something out. And that's why it's good for you to reach out to us. I'm a church consultant. Let's come diagnose your church. You see, one of the things that we do as a church is to let you know what the difference between a disease and symptoms, because pain actually is like a symptom, you know. If you keep treating symptoms, keep numbing the pain, that does not mean that the disease is over.
Yeah.
Okay, but one thing is that once you're able to diagnose and find out the root cause of the pain, which is the disease, then you deal with the disease, then you are going to deal with the symptoms.
Sure.
Okay, I can remember those days when they were teaching us firefighting, using the firefighter to quench a fire. You know, it will be futile for you to carry the fire hose and you are blowing the smoke. You know, you are trying to blow up the smoke. What you do is look for the source of the pain, the source of the fire, the source of the ignition, and then you put that hose right where that thing is so that you can be able to deal with the disease. And then you find out that once you're able to deal with the smoke, the fire, the smoke takes care of itself.
Sure.
One of the things we spoke of was that over 96% of Christians are not sharing their faith.
96%.
96% exactly. You know, they are not sharing their faith. So that also tells us that we cannot permeate the culture, the cross-cultural, the cultural perspective of the world today without not having enough people to go into the world and permeate the culture of the gospel in the nook and crannies of the world. Yeah. Now, the world has not come to an end because the gospel has not been preached to all nations. All right? And so Matthew chapter 9, verse 37 to 38, if you read that, I will just go to extract something from there to save time. The Bible says the harvest is truly plenteous, but the laborers are few. So you can imagine you have a yard, a kind of hectare of land with all the fruits are ripe for harvest. And then you have just very few persons, you know, very few persons giving their all and their gift to harvest. What do you think will happen at the end of the day?
You will be weary. Those harvesting will be weary.
I love that.
Those harvesting will be so discouraged, even though there is money involved, that because you feel the money may be much, you will be stressed out. You will be stressed out emotionally. You'll be stressed out mentally. You'll be stressed out physically and otherwise. So even when you know that there is gain, but you can imagine the work of 100 persons, just only 10 persons or 15 persons are carrying it out. It's going to be very strenuous.
Very stressful. Burnout.
And it can lead to burnout. Not only burnout is something that can be redeemed, but it can even lead to death. It can lead to death of some persons that don't even have the capacity to absorb such kind of stress. So it's something that we need to take and pay attention to daily.
So I will just add to that we need to go in mass because the harvest is plenteous.
It's plenteous.
There's a lot of souls in the ocean that needs to hear the gospel, needs to be saved. And if every church makes an impact in their Jerusalem, I call Jerusalem where your church is located. Although now the church has gone hybrid, we have online and on-site, we need to make sure that the light and the salt capacity of our churches are actually permitted in our Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And one of the ways by which we can do that is there's a relationship between invitational culture and church health.
Okay, invitational culture
and church
health. Okay, I think I would need some light to be thrown there.
Yeah.
What's the difference between invitational culture?
Now, invitational culture is you going into your Jerusalem to invite people into your gathered church. All right? Into your gathered church. Mark Hensley said, we are never more like Jesus than when we tell others how they can find salvation in Christ alone. So as a church, we need to find out the gospel conversations we do every day, the gospel conversations we do every week, because the magnitude of this gospel conversation, it will increase the probability for invitational culture to be real and for people to hear the gospel. So healthy churches develop invitational culture and they invite as much as 10 times their average attendance. So if your church average attendance is, let's say, 200, at least in a year, you should be able to invite nothing less than 2,000 people to your front door.
In fact, every day I see the statistics on church health. I see the statistics of how to make church better, how to revitalize the church. I even feel for some of our pastors and our leaders, because the work is really, really plenteous. The work is really, really enormous. So if we actually are doing the right thing and we are doing it well, I'm sure we'll be getting the results of it. In fact, sometimes I sit down when I watch the statistics, the pastors need to do. I just get so overwhelmed with even the information. How much more the pastors in the field.
We need to pray for our pastors. We need to pray for. We're going to wrap up on that note. You see, one of the things that is even more painful to me as a church consultant is finding out the reality that there is denominational decline. This is even so. It's broader than just church decline. When you have denomination, is a group of churches with the same doctrine and belief systems. But when you we have a lot of doctrinal decline, and this doctrinal health is very, very critical, because now what it means that there are a lot of churches that are dying, closing their doors, primarily because of the pandemic or whatever challenges. Churches do die, and we need to find ways to revitalize those churches, awake those churches. Just like as businesses are falling up because of the pandemic and the economic crunch, churches too are falling up. And one of the things that we need to look at in this denominational decline is that more than 2% of the current number of churches are going to need some form of revitalization. If not, we're going to have more and more of them closing their doors to the.
So can I say something about revitalization? As that word implies, revitalize. As a human being, it gets to a time in your life you sit down to check what is happening, how good you're going, how fair you are faring, and how bad you are going. Because in life we need to sit down to make such personal assessments. So in the process of making such personal assessments, we'll be able to know that, this is not working out well, this is not working. That is in our personal life. So it is now necessary upon us to say, I'm having such kind of illness because I'm probably lacking in this vitamin. I'm having this kind of pain because I'm lacking in so thing. So sometimes a medical doctor will tell you, okay, please go take a lot of fruits, take a lot of vegetables, take a lot of this and a lot of that, and B complex, so that your body will be revitalized. So as much as our body needs revitalization, remember, your church needs revitalization.
Yes, your church. More and more churches need revitalization and renewal to get back from the pain of loss and decline. Okay, the kind of losses we're talking about, members over the years leaving, okay, and things like that. We need to find ways to. You see, one of the things I want to say about church health is that if there's a minute part of the church that is unhealthy, the whole church is not healthy. So we need to give attention to all the systems, the structures, processes of the church to make sure that they are healthy and the whole body is actually connected together and they are actually revitalized together. One of the things that I want to also say is about 5 things that are proven that will help most churches, in terms of twisting the pain to gains, to get more of that church tips, so to get more of church growth than church decline. One is to raise the expectation of membership. Okay, right now it's very easy for people to just pot. That is the right word. Because people are more mobile. People are very, very volatile now. They have no patience for nonsense.
Zero tolerance.
Once you do something that Instead of you to straighten it up, you just go to another church. It's very easy. But we need to raise that commitment level of membership. Because the truth about it is that if you don't demand commitment, you will not get it. Don't you think so?
True. You see, even as parents, when you are raising your children during parenting, you should not just leave the children like that. There are expectations from we parents on our children. We say, oh, if you're able to love your siblings the way you should care for them, this and this should be done, or this and this will be done. So the children should have expectation. Parents too have expectation. So you have to raise their expectation.
This is what
to
is
help
expected
them.
of you.
Yes.
This is what we are demanding commitment in this area, and that area.
Yeah.
So one of the things, the second thing I want to say is, the churches should require an entry class where you orientate your people coming through your front door. You also let them know what they need to be able to plug into your church. And also you need to do a refresher course annually for all your membership, because the truth about it is that you just need to raise the bar. That's just it. Just need to raise the bar so that you get people to get them glued to the church.
Especially, especially with especially with information that in few weeks from now, the information you know today
might not be relevant tomorrow.
So you need,
in fact, what took you here might not be what will take you there. Okay, we need to always refresh. All right. Encourage also ministry and small group involvement. It has been shown that anybody that joins your church and is part of a small group, there's a 10 times chance that person will not go through the back door. The fourth thing has to do with, we should create more and more options for worship times. You can have 3 services. You can have online services. You can have on-demand services.
Professional services.
So that people can, at their own time, not miss out from worship times. Then also, another thing, we need to monitor attendance. Okay, let's use the clocking device. Let's sign in, because you need to know those who are showing up as much as you know those who are not showing up. Okay, and I noticed that in the church, when we use the clocking device, you could see more and more participation. Okay, and commitment level.
Apart from participation, you are able to sieve through.
Yes.
To see what is happening. This person has not been around for
the attendance pattern.
Yes.
Yeah, I like
this
that.
Person has not been around. What is happening? And that will now make the church inform the church properly to make a decision of either call, visiting, or something.
Yes.
So it's very important.
The truth about it is that if you don't deal with inactive church membership, it will keep declining.
Sure.
You just need to know those who are not showing up. You just need to do something about those who are not having this frequency of attendance. I can remember those days when I was administrating the church. You can see the trend of one person's attendance, and that might be a trigger point that person is going to hit the back door.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things that we need to also look at, that church decline is an indication of lag metrics. Lag metrics is a metrics or a statistics that tells you the outcome, and there's nothing you can do about it. You count the attendance of your church. It's a lag metric. There's nothing you can do about it. But there's something you can do about the lead measures, the lead metrics. The lead metrics are the things you do that will produce the lag metrics. So what are the lead metrics? The lead metrics are all those invitations. How many people are you inviting to your church? How many people are you evangelizing? How many people are having gospel conversations in the community so that they can come to your church? You can imagine, there are some people in the world today that don't even know Jesus. That's why we're still preaching. And so don't feel that your church is popular and is the highest church in the community does not mean that everybody in the community knows about your church.
True.
So we need to make sure that we emphasize more on the lead measures. What are the things that will produce the lag measures? And let's do something about it.
Sure.
Okay, the pandemic has brought about a form of disruptions in our graph. Okay, so we need to reset, we need to refresh and start afresh with a model, like a reboot button, and start from 2021. Okay, let's look into our communities with evangelistic and outreach efforts. Don't let pain this pandemic make your church to look inwards. Okay, problems sometimes make you look inwards, and when you look inwards, what happens is that the problem you have is not inside. You need to get external help to get you to look into your community and get help for where you are.
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to say is that even then your church, even when your church is 300 years old, okay, we need to make sure that spiritual growth and maturity for our members is continuous. You can imagine Jesus Christ. How many years did Jesus Christ use to get a disciple? All those 12 disciples, 3 years.
Yes.
So you can't disciple people in 3 weeks. That's the reason why we're having, when the wind blows, the shaft will just scatter.
We run away.
And Jesus desires a glorious bride. No, they're not brides with wrinkles and spots. So as much as your church is getting older, we need to make sure that discipleship process it's not stop. It doesn't stop. Yeah. Okay, we keep on to make sure that so that when somebody gives his life to Christ at a tender age, when it's at midlife crisis, you are still having some form of mentoring sessions with that person. And don't you think? How do you think mental disposition of our church leaders on split audience? That's a hybrid church. Okay, you have the online. You can imagine a church talking to human beings in the congregation, and then you are now trying to keep the audience of those who are watching via the camera. What do you say to that?
Okay, now for that, as pastors, we go back to you again. You see, things have changed.
Things have changed.
Things are changing. And things will still change. So this is a deliberate effort that every pastor, every minister ought to take. Because you see, if you don't understand it, you need to learn it. Because most of us didn't come with these skills. We had to learn it. We had to unlearn how it used to be. We had to relearn what it ought to look like. You see, you can imagine a pastor still thinking that the congregation he has is only the ones he's seeing, forgetting the ones that are online. So we need to have strategies. Okay, while service is going on, the online participants are there. What should we do as a church? Should we have an online pastor that will be engaging those online? Should we have an online either assimilation team or discipleship pastor to be engaging those? Because should we have some good graphic designers that will be engaging our people online? Because these are all the things a pastor needs to do, and these are all the decisions they have to make this season. The season is moving. I remember the song we used to sing where we said the cloud of glory is moving. Move with the cloud.
And when you don't move with the cloud, you get lost.
Yeah,
you are out.
Move with the cloud.
That's one of the things I want to also wrap up there. When you are out of the coverage of that cloud, then you are at the mercy of attack. You are at the mercy of being stricken by the enemy. Okay. God is the one that causes increase in his church. God is the one that causes growth. The kind of growth we are talking about. We're not talking about the gimmicks that you do. Because to grow a church, you can do all kinds of gimmicks, and then crowd comes, and then before you know it, you say it's church growth. That's not church growth. We are talking about a church growth that is an offshoot of church health. So if you are out of that cloud, if you are out of that covering, there's a likelihood that the enemy will strike you. And the Bible says in Zechariah, and of course the Matthews also quoted that smite the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. Smite the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. You see, what makes the sheep to gather is when the
capacity of the shepherd
is organized. The capacity of the shepherd. So once that shepherd is attacked, is smitten, then you automatically just see the shepherd, the sheep scatter.
And you know, the devil doesn't just come for the sheep.
It's just
very strategic. He goes for the shepherd, because the sheep will be just there and there. But when the shepherd is being struck, it causes confusion in the camp. So each shepherd, you that is a pastor, you need to really increase your capacity when it comes to your personal well-being, when it comes to your spiritual balance, when it comes to growth, when it comes to your mental stability, when it comes to spirituality, and with what the trends that are happening now. Each pastor, each shepherd, it is upon you right now, whether you like it or not, to increase your capacity.
Increase your capacity. Yeah.
Because the sheep that is in your sheepfold are now more complicated. They are now more complicated. They are not like the sheep that you used to have that you say, go this way.
Those days when I gave my life to Christ and my pastor is preaching, Reverend Ibrahim we're preaching. Those days we don't have Google, we don't have smartphones. We just were open to some strong concordance.
As the word comes, you receive
these days, as you are preaching, they are getting the definition
search.
of what you
search.
They're even getting more information than
more
what
than
you. So you have to be able to increase your capacity. Let there be order in the church. Let there be structures in the church. Let there be discipline in the church. Let there be order. Okay, so that, because the truth about it is that the level of growth that God wants to bless you with is dependent on your capacity. It's dependent on the order you put in the church. It's dependent on the structures you place in the church. Oh, we have hit the 30 minutes time. I need to wrap up now. But we're going to wrap up this again next Monday. Okay, we're going to wrap up this, the pain of
church decline.
The pain of church decline. Why are people not attending anymore? Why are people not showing up in our churches? But one of the things I need to also wrap up there is about the word smite to smite. Okay, it's more like a photograph where you have a picture of an open mouth. You have a pot where you now bust the side with an open mouth. What happens is that it is open and water starts gushing. That's how it is. That's how the back door is. Okay, we need to put our attention on making sure that the shepherd or the pot is not smitten, so that we can have retention, we can have growth, we can have church health. We can have proper account of all the sheep that God has blessed our church with. We need to wrap up here because we have hit 30 minutes. Thank you for always staying by. Make a comment to us. Give us a like, or subscribe to our channel, and then share to a church worker, share to a church leader, share to a church pastor. They will be able to appreciate some of these tips we have shared so far. Our social media handles are on the screen: Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Please make sure you subscribe to hit the bell, so that when we post some pictures, post some pictures and videos and blog content, you'll be able to get some of these things. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you
for listening to us. My name is Niyi Dunmade. My wife is Ruth Dunmade. I'm the founder and the CEO of Magnicraft Consulting. One of the things we do as Magnicraft Consulting is to help churches grow healthier through empirical assessment and strategic. We also do trainings also. So we do a lot of assessment so that we're able to address the disease and not try to. I've seen churches who have wasted effort, resources, time in trying to quench smoke. You don't quench smoke, you quench fire. You don't try to cure symptoms, you cure disease. And if you don't know what you are curing, you're going to waste time, you're going to waste resources, you're going to waste money, you're going to also make serious havoc on the church. So reach out to us. We are very prompt with our instant messaging on all our platforms, and we're going to love to rub minds with you. God bless you. We'll see you next Monday so we can wrap up the pains of church decline. God bless you. We'll see you next week Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.